calm down before you stress up the groove. The energy a little different.
Boy.
Just know I ain't no regular fool. Could be anything in the world, but I can never be you. Because I head tired like I'm on my tiptoes. Baby, you think a little too small. I got big.
Alright, so that's pre and intra workout prepared. About to head off to the gym now and train, but quickly wanted to touch upon some of the intra workout stuff I use. Obviously here in Dubai at the moment it's Ramadan, so plenty of people are fasting and training, and one of my top tips for people who are fasting and will be training is look after your hydration. Key component of that will be having enough electrolytes, coconut water and a good EAA, BCA containing electrolytes. This one is from AD, my sponsors. So there's BCAs, EAAs, leucine, L-carnitine, and a hydration complex containing coconut powder. So it's an excellent hydration formula. There are other ones you can get that are just electrolytes. But whatever you get, I do recommend that you are getting some electrolytes in and getting a lot of hydration in, because you're going all day without water and then you're going to train. So it's probably going to be the biggest risk for you. Pre-workout, we've just got the Nitrox pump product stacked with some glycerize, and today I think we will add one of these, which I'll have on the way to the gym, one of the new shreddable sweat sticks. So it's a non-stimulant fat loss, water loss product. Basically it makes you sweat like hell, so we'll try that out today. I've had it once or twice already. Definitely makes you sweat. It's a nice feeling while you train, not so nice afterwards, but we'll get over that. Alright guys, so we just got some Maxinagel. It's just a little sachet powder.
Does it taste like anything?
It's like anyone who's ever had sherbet, it's just like sherbet. Today we're going to go through legs. I'm actually on a deload week, so volume's down a little. It's just going to be one set on everything. Working kind of in my back offset rep ranges, so not crazy heavy, but still pretty heavy, as you'll see. When I feel like mechanical failure is reached, stop, don't try and go for another. Okay, so we're in for legs rotation 2 today. I'm going to start off with a lying leg curl. So with my leg sessions, this actual leg session is pretty much quad dominant. There'll be 2 small hamstring components to it, but obviously with my pull sessions you'll have seen I hit hamstrings in those as well. So hamstrings get hit 3 times a week. Quads I'm only hitting once every 7 days, and I have two rotations, so it'll be today the main movement is a leg press. On my other day, the main movement is actually now going to be a squat and a single leg press. We just switched from V squat to Smith machine squat, just because the V squat doesn't feel nice. Nice and quiet and empty gym. Perks of Ramadan over here. The gyms are empty during the day. So we'll just work through a few warm-up sets, just feeling the weight. So as I go up in weight, I'll decrease the amount of reps I do until I get to my working set. With this, we're doing it very controlled. What we're looking to do is contract up, hold the contraction for 2 seconds at the top, control it back down, and repeat. Either I've got way stronger, I must have been a pussy last time I did this session. What's going to be a warm-up set was my working set 2 weeks ago. Did 11 reps. Probably could have pushed for 12 or 13, but they may not have been perfect, so we left them behind. So obviously the purpose of this week is to bring fatigue down, so we don't want to go beyond failure too much. 11 reps in stack is more than I did my last session, so it's an improvement anyway. Quick few tips. You want to learn to engage your hamstrings from the beginning of the movement, so squeeze on your glutes and then contract the hamstrings to bring it up. Too many people you see try and fire the weight up, so they try and exert a load of energy. They end up throwing the weight, tension comes off the hamstring mid-portion, and then you go beyond the sort of 90 where tension is, and it's relaxed. I used to be one of those people. That's why I thought I was really strong on the hamstring curl, so I could do a lot of weight for a lot of reps. But when you learn to keep your hips down and contract the hamstring from the start, keep it controlled on the way up into contraction, control the negative, hold the stretch slightly, you'll find out how strong you really are there, but you'll get a lot more out of the reps. Now we're on to adductor. For me, probably one of the most important exercises you can do as a bodybuilder. It gives that illusion of thickness to the legs. When you see all top bodybuilders, they stand front on, you certainly don't see a gap between here and that's their adductor muscles, especially from the back. As well as being aesthetically very, very good and important for a bodybuilder, it's also very important for stability in other exercises. If you get strong adductors, you're going to be very strong in the bottom or in the whole of your squat movements, because essentially when you go beyond that 90 and you look to come up from here, it's squeezing the glutes and the adductors to squeeze in will bring you up to that first portion, so you'll notice your other exercises will come along a lot more. Just going to do 1 or 2 warm-up sets here, and then we'll be going into our working set, which will be a really controlled set. We're going to be doing 4-second negatives, come in, and we're going to hold for 2 in the middle. With this, it's important that when you come in, you don't actually touch them together, because that brings tension off. You're going to come close, hold, and then control the negative. Get a gym pin for this one. I do have one somewhere, I need to look it out. My rep range here is supposed to be 12 to 15 max, and this was what deload, and I got 17 I think it was. It's nothing more depressing than walking over to the leg press and it's got 0 plates on it. Exercise 3 now is going to be leg press. Normally I have 3 sets on here. Set 1 is a heavy set banded with a 2-second hold in the hole. Set 2, no band, just 4-second negatives, and then set 3 is a cluster set. So today we're just going to be doing 1 set. I think what we'll do is we'll just do the banded top set, because obviously none of these are really a back off set as such, because the 4-second negative one is just as hard as the banded. So I think what we'll do is we'll do the banded set today. Do the same weight as last week, because I know last week that I could have gone up a weight, or I should, well, next time I'll definitely go up a weight. So what we'll do is we'll do the same weight as last week and just look to match the reps. That should be leaving a little bit in the tank. Foot stands quite low, so that as the weight comes down, our knee is technically traveling forward over the toes to make this quad dominant. So if you pull our feet up here, the opposite, the hamstring glute, we want to put here. Going with a slightly angled out with my toes, so that it allows my knees to travel on a better path. So you can see we're back to the 2-ply sleeves. As you might have noticed the last couple of times I've trained legs, I've been testing out some of the neoprene ones for tough wraps, and they're excellent. They are really good, particularly like the CrossFit ones, the shorter ones, were nice to just keep on during a leg session. Definitely feel with these they're a little bit more hugging, which I like. They just fit nicer for me personally. So we're back to using these. Off-season problems. Ugh. Getting them on. Still pretty hard. 10 reps I think. Difference between adding more weight and using a band is if you just add more weight, it will be just as hard in the bottom portion where you're not as strong. Whereas what adding the band does is it adds resistance as you get stronger. So obviously in this, from the midpoint to the top is where you're at your strongest, and that's where the most tension is. The tension drops off as you come into the bottom portion or into the hole where most are weakest. So what it does is it matches your strength profile. Pretty handy. They've got all the different types of bands, like 20 of each of them here. This red one I actually don't like, it's too thick. So you can see I'm very particular in the setup for this exercise. I bring the pad quite high, so it's, as I come up it's mid shin, so it feels more like I've got more stability. Got the seat back so that the end of the seat comes right up against the back of the knee when set like this. So what it does mean is I can get a full contraction at the top, so it's almost like normally you'll probably only go to about here. I'm trying to get the quad to almost hyperextend, so we really get a good contraction through here. Today what we're going to do is we're just going to do banded mid load, and then a no band top load, so just 2 sets. 12-ish reps. Normally this set I do 5 plates, but I'll be looking at an 8 to a 10 rep. Just gonna keep a little bit in reserve. Key points here, keep our hips down, contract from the start. Again, like the hamstring, we don't wanna fire the weight up, because if you fire the weight, you'll lose tension through the mid portion, and you only really get tension at the top. From the bottom, we're looking to squeeze through, squeeze, and we're gonna hold the top for 2 seconds on these. This is what we've got these for. I'm gonna wrap in, ensure that we're pulled in nice and tight, keep the hips down, so when you're moving this sort of weight, your body will tend to come off the seat. Fun fact, Ben Pekulski said this is the only exercise he ever used to use wrist wraps for. It's not even the weight. I can do heavier than that. I've done 5 on this, but it's the amount of time you stay in tension on this. So you can see the control squeezing up, and with the band obviously it's getting, the tension's getting worse as you come up. 2 seconds holding the maximum contraction at the top, controlled negative all the way down and up. So the length of time you stay in sort of contraction is mental. So this set will be the complete opposite. So where the weight is at the moment, it'll be heaviest at the start and it will drop off into contraction. So it'll be the exact opposite of the last one, which is good. It's fitting, because obviously the most fatigued at the moment is maximum point.
I'm unchained, unfazed, and unwilling. It's a new day, new world, we all winning. I'm up late, up early, I gotta get it. Keep working, now we gotta make a million.
Alright, so next up we got hyperextension. We're going to do this banded. Normally I have 2 sets here. One where we do hold and contraction, and then a back off with no band, hold and the stretch. So today we're just going to do the banded with a 2-second contraction. I'll do one no weight here to kind of go through the movements. We're looking to set it up so the pad is quite low, so below your hips. So you can see my hip is here, it's below it. So this allows me to round right over. Now, most people who think to come up here would use their lower back to come up, and you create like an arch. We don't want to do that. We want to stay with our lower back rounded. What we want to do is pull through the hamstring and squeeze the glutes. That's all you're going to focus on. I'm not thinking up at all. And that will naturally bring me up to where it's fully contracted. Hold, down.
Put your mind to it.
Alright, so next up we're going to do this kneeling hamstring curl. Our setup here is going to be a little bit different to normal, so we're going to stay upright. Okay, we don't want to lean over, because what you tend to do then is the hip comes in and you throw the weight up, and it's not so much hamstring tension. What we're looking to do is stay upright, squeeze the glute to pull the hip forward and keep the tension on the hamstring. So we're going to go for about 8 to 10. Nice, nothing to failure here, just comfortable. So last one of the day, I'm just going to do some calf raises on this low back hack squat, just like 8 to 12 reps. Side pause in the stretch and side pause in the contraction. This is the second set now of 2. Get this done, and we're out of here. Guys, so that's legs wrapped up. Coming to the end of this deload week, got one more session, pull 2 tomorrow, which will wrap up this deload. Ready to push on for another few weeks. which leads me into my plans for this year. You will see me on stage this year. I haven't picked what show yet. Probably going to be looking around September, October, November time, because I want to at least push this out for another 8 to 10 weeks. Working really hard at the moment to bring up my back and hamstrings, which is the main focus of my training, and I definitely have a lot more room to push, as we have only just gone back on a cycle after being off for a couple of months. Feeling healthy, feeling fresh, everything is good, so no excuses not to progress now. I think this is the most focused I've ever been with my training in terms of execution, managing my recovery. Everything seems to be on point. I think this will be a very good period for me in terms of progression. Currently sitting at 257 pounds fasted, in pretty good condition, still pretty lean, so I can probably push this up another little bit. But obviously for weight, that's not really the goal for me. My weight limit for my class is 222 pounds, so not really looking to get heavy, just want to get better. So we are managing my food consumption, keeping protein average, so it's not a massive intake, so keep digestion good. Yeah, we'll see how this period goes, probably another 8 weeks or so, and then select some shows. There is obviously the big one in the UK, October 2nd, the Arnold's, first Arnold's in the UK, so it's likely that I'll probably do that show along with 1 or 2 more. So hopefully we don't have any more crazy travel restrictions that will impact on that, but that's out of our control, so we just plan for what we can at the moment. Main focus anyway now is taking it week by week, just focusing on the training, getting a little bit better, a little bit stronger. Feedback on the last video was great from you guys. Really enjoyed the content and the information, so I'm going to try keep pushing that out for you. If there's anything in particular you'd like to see, please comment down below. But for now, just like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.